what do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? It is what Disney has always been. It's been what Marvel's always been too, even in the comic book form. These stories that people are saying that they're annoyed with are actually staying so true to not only the context and the storytelling and the detail, but also the emotion and storytelling chops. Like the way that it tells it is almost the exact same, down to the corniness of it. Comic books of the Marvel genre are so Disney already. Couple other video essays here about She-Hulk. The way that these are titled, they're telling me that it's bad still. And I'm not saying that it's not bad, but I just have the strangest feeling that it's not for the reasons that they think it is.
No matter how much Disney and Marvel try to bribe and manipulate every statistic, She-Hulk was not a success. And if it gets a second season, it will be simply because of Marvel's continued desire to show disdain towards their own fan base. So in this video, we're going to talk about why She-Hulk sucks.
What genre in particular is She-Hulk? I personally think it's a sitcom. Like, I would classify it as a sitcom. It's more trying to be slice of life lawyer show. I think that's what it's trying to go for, and I think it does miss.
She-Hulk, or Jen, right off the bat comes off as dismissive, self-obsessed, and immature.
Just trying to show you how it's done.
I'm shown.
She complains about not being respected by her male peers in her field of expertise, but then turns around and completely marginalizes Bruce's experience as a Hulk and is already convinced of her own superiority despite being a Hulk for a couple of hours. She completely lacks any humility and can't even consider that maybe, just maybe, Bruce could teach her something. Instead, she insults him and belittles.
Do you know what character arc is? Do you know what a character arc is? Are you aware of character arcs? The thing is, what you're talking about right now is the first episode of the show. What you're describing are her opening flaws. That's a new character. They've got a problem with the way that they interact with the world that needs to be adjusted. Do they adjust it? I'm thinking. I think she does a little bit. Yeah, right? Right? What does she learn? It's family. She likes Daredevil. And what did she learn? Yeah, I don't even remember. No, she needed to write her own story, right? Something like that, because she broke out the fourth wall. But I really liked the end, and I like Marvel, so it was still cozy, warm inside my tummy.
Overemphasizes her own status as a female victim all the time. So our new heroine is rude, condescending, and has a superiority complex with no setups or payoffs for any redemption arc. I wonder why, oh why, the audience doesn't like...
Is there not a redemption arc? Am I crazy? Am I missing something here? Maybe I'm missing something here. I'm gonna stay it out. I'm gonna stick it out. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe there isn't a redemption arc, but I'm pretty sure there's a redemption arc. And like her peace of mind. I can't
connect. And in later episodes, it only gets worse. With the diverse set of writers, the best these women could come up with were these terrible characters. These women are all obsessed with each other's clothes, putting each other down, or showing each other up, or generally just being drunk idiots.
This isn't really a criticism of the show. It's more a criticism of what she thinks is a redeemable quality, right? Like, I'm not saying that the stereotypes that she claims are being shown here aren't annoying and seen often in film, but I also think it's genuine. It felt genuine, at least. It was bad. For sure it was bad. But I think it felt genuine. You can't really dismiss that.
This right here is the face of modern feminism. And I'm sure the writers would love...
It's fun as It's fun. It's Marvel. It's fun. It's Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion was in She-Hulk. That's funny. That's fun. That's a good time. It's fine. It's totally fine. And I'm not going to get into the whole sexualized culture because it's also fine. Chill.
Back to the favorite scapegoat of failed MCU writers, men. And that's reason number 3 for why we should all cancel our Disney Plus membership. The men on the show
stop. People have just forgotten what Disney is, I think. What do people want from Disney? What do people want from Disney? What do they want? What do they want that they're not getting from Disney? Oversaturation? Fine. Cool. Have it. I'll give that to you. That's worth a lot. That's worth a lot coming from me. I'm worth a lot of knowledge and gold. What I want to talk about is why Disney can't be silly. A lot of the characters in this are silly, and that's like known out the gate. They're silly, they're wacky, they're little wacky guys, and that's fine. There's some characters in Ant-Man that are wacky. Bring in some wacky characters. Y'all liked Werewolf by Night. That's a wacky old lady, I tell you what. Y'all like that? What's wrong with that? Other than it's got good writing and this doesn't. That's probably what it is. It's what it is.
Meet guy who calls a woman a specimen.
What a specimen.
Meet guy who would literally rather die than have a difficult conversation with a woman. Meet guy who doesn't understand the definition of alone.
I hate to see two stunning women sitting all alone.
She's naming a lot of stereotypes. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. If that's something that annoys her, that's something that annoys her. And to have Marvel be at the position that it's at in culture and to have it hit that many stereotypes that she's naming, that I'm like, I guess, gosh, when you put it in order like that, that's interesting. That I can understand that being annoying to somebody.
But it's clear that this is how the writers view men, as chauvinistic, narcissistic, dismissive idiots who are really only interested in sex or Jen's blood. And I guess the first...
That's not true. That hot guy was really nice. The guy that was like really, really hot and he was light-skinned, he had the blue eyes. He was put off by the fact that he was like someone else that he didn't know. He was trying so nice to put her down. I felt bad. He's like, listen, in that form, you're not my type. And he felt lied to. He felt cheated. I can get down with that. But I definitely see what she's saying about what they're saying about all the chauvinistic men. It had a lot. And that's kind of what the show was divulging to with the end piece. I think it had good men too. I liked the assistant guy, Wong. I liked the big other Hulk guy. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people and a lot of men hate the show. And is it any wonder? The men on the show are absolute reprehensible examples of masculinity. And it's clear that the writers are all aching to put them in their place.
It didn't feel like that. It felt like they took something and just made fun of the fact that most of Marvel is masculinity. It didn't feel like they were like, nah, men. I felt like they're like, yo, Marvel's always about this shit. Let's do a complete 180. So, I don't know. I guess she missed it. I guess she didn't agree. She felt like she didn't like it. And that's fine. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
Why would men enjoy the show when it's clear that the writers think
because it's a little funny and silly. That's why. And she bad.
So ill of them. The character of She-Hulk was not really treated with respect as a proper character with edges and shadows. But
I mean, like, isn't it like that, like, classic sitcom Amanda Bynes? Like, they're kind of a klutz. They're kind of dopey. Every sitcom character, guy or a girl, that's fine. That's fine.
rather as a caricature.
And they even said, like, this is going to be like a lawyer show.
Turned into a dark fantasy for the writers to repeatedly dunk on men. And then they turn around and go after Jen refuses to become a superhero, calling the Avengers narcissists.
That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason.
It's amazing that the rest of the show is about her dating life, her name, and her struggles with acquiring clothing. And yet, she views the willingness to serve people and the world as narcissistic.
Oh my, just stop. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Please, let Jen Walters just live. Chill. I know people suck, you know? People suck. It's true. I'm sorry. It's true. But that's cool. That's fine. Everybody sucks. You probably suck in your own way. There's probably somebody that sucks, and that's fine. That's cool. I got a part of me too that sucks. Everyone's cool with it, and you know what? You work on it. And Marvel, they're gonna work on it. But also, she had a fine arc. She came around and she trusted the men in her life. I think. I really don't remember.
She remains flat and uninteresting, achieving her happy ending by speaking to the manager and making sure everyone is arrested. But the final and most crucial reason for the failure of this show is the worldview the writers and creators have laid out in front of us. There is nothing heroic, nothing aspiring or inspiring. Instead, it's actually pretty bleak, since the men are tools and the women are vapid. And it's clearly how the writers truly think about the world we live in.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a joke. It's funny. No, it's not. It's funny. It's a funny thing to be a part of. How are you missing this? How? How are you missing this? This doesn't make any sense.
9 episodes of constant finger wagging at men. And you know what? It could have at least worked out if it was even a little bit funny.
You're right, though. You're right about that. It wasn't funny. But you know what they're trying to do. You know they're trying to be funny. You know that. And it wasn't funny a lot of times. But now there are sitcoms. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it was at least like, it had its moments. And the last couple episodes, the editing was a lot better. Cut it a little slack. But you're right, it wasn't funny. I like that video. Go subscribe to Baggage Claim. Let's head to our next one. This is Film Speak, 41 minutes. We're gonna take this apart, bro.
Jennifer Walters might be one of the most dependable team members that Marvel Comics have reliably pulled off the bench for more than 40 years, ever since her first appearance in The Savage She-Hulk #1.
What I do like about this guy, as cringe as he is sometimes, he's a great guy, nice guy. A little cringe, a little weird, but I love it. He does a lot of research, and I think that's cool. I don't know a lot about the She-Hulk comics. I don't know a lot about comics in general, like I say on here. I'm dope with Marvel because I grew up with playing the video games and watching the cartoons. But the comics, I do not know a lot about, and so I don't really know much about She-Hulk. But from the research that I know, they were pretty loyal to the actual like way that She-Hulk is done. They were pretty down bad.
And even beyond the uncanny valley nightmare that is She-Hulk on a visual level, the death knell of this show is the absolute overdose of cringe humor, an endless barrage of gags that are so...
And the humor would have been fine with a tighter edit. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Am I gonna re-edit She-Hulk? I don't want to re-edit She-Hulk.
Being a sitcom, you would expect She-Hulk to at least deliver the laughs, but for me...
Yeah, it didn't.
And let me just point this out. This is just me. Some of you might find this funny, and that's great, but for me, it's simply...
It's not funny. It's not. It didn't work. But you can see where they wanted it to work, and I really think the jokes would have landed with a tighter edit, and maybe I'll do a scene or two just to prove it one time. If they had just brought in some of the things tighter and I don't know, they just needed more character in the shots too. There's a lot they could have done with what they already have on stock just to make it hit a little harder.
I'm really happy if it is resonating for a lot of viewers. I'm just one asshole with an opinion, but when the dialogue is so bad that it's bashing you over the head with girl boss slogans from a gift shop rather than addressing these issues in a nuanced and sensitive way.
Like, the shallowness was annoying. The nuance wasn't there. Like, the funny things that I don't think work for me because of the nostalgia. I'm just so happy to be there that I don't even think about that.
There's some genuinely compelling work being done with Jen having superpowers, a life and attention she didn't want thrust upon her, and having to discover a new normal while simultaneously caught up in the fallout.
Just the day-to-dayness of it. It was very just average. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, just followed her. I wish there was more of that type in Hawkeye, but I liked that about Hawkeye. It was just kind of like a good Christmas family. This was that too. It was just her not wanting attention.
Man, it doesn't get much more lame than Jen and Bruce going on a car ride only to suddenly be attacked by a random Sakaar ship that causes the most contrived scenario where Bruce is bleeding and somehow bleeds into one of Jen's cuts, turning her into the She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, it was lame. It was definitely lame. I saw it and I was like, really? That's cool, I guess. You're just gonna bleed into him? All right. Cool. Sure, that works. And I guess it was the Sakaar ship that made it so weird. That really was what it was. And it was just so convenient. Super comic booky though, and that's why I was kind of okay with it. Super comic booky. And I wonder if that is one of the origins in one of the stories.
Specifically, the courtroom drama, but more on that later.
I had a lot of fun in the courtroom, especially when Daredevil came in. He overshadowed everyone immediately, and it was plain as day that the show was not doing as well. It felt like they were trying to get to his level. That's not what happened, obviously, just because of the order of operations, but there was just something about his vibe, like when he came through, it just, everything got better. It worked. It was awesome. And I really liked She-Hulk as a character. I just want to keep saying that as we keep going.
Banner and the Hulk have been slowly reduced to the comedic side character, thanks in large part to Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok. Anyways.
I think they're trying to make a more wise old man type figure. Like, the Hulk is one of like the last Avengers around, helping people out, like a big brother. Yeah, that's why they made him like a bro, you know? That's like a thing now though. People who are nerds are like bros now. That's like a thing. It was the flat brim caps, yo. Those from, yeah.
It's made even worse following the time jump from Infinity War to Endgame, where suddenly Banner just figured his shit out, merged the brain and the brawn of both he and the Hulk together.
Yeah, that did happen off screen. He's so right. I remember seeing that, and it was fun. Like, I liked what they did with Smart Hulk, but I was like, why is this off screen? It just felt like such a jump. He's 100% right on that. That jump was so weird. So weird. I wanted to see it. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to see it. I want to see that shit. I want to see you work through it, but I think they can't because of the Universal shit, right? There's a lot of shit they can't show of the Hulk.
She-Hulk had the perfect opportunity to delve deeper into that transformation, to explore how Bruce sorted his shit out and how that in turn can help Jen. Unfortunately,
they were trying to make
She-Hulk
it not
just repeats
Bruce's show, though, obviously. They said it from the beginning. They wanted to make a lawyer show. This wasn't going to be that shit. This was going to be a straight-up lawyer show, and I'm cool with that. I'm so cool with that. What you're talking about would have been a cool story, man. For sure. For sure. You're so right. But that's not what they made, and that's not what they wanted to make.
Bruce has to learn to take both of his hands off of Jen's wheel, the very thing the Hulk did to him, and let her figure herself out on her own, make some of her own mistakes. If you really think about it, Bruce has been a victim of a controlling relationship with the Hulk for so long, been submissive.
And that was definitely a part of that episode, like his jealousy, both of their egos, and his attempt to control his ego, her just immediate understanding of her ego, though she, again, in the end, loses control of that for a brief moment, not like some Hulk shit. It's subtle. It's there to be subtle. I think you're arguing, too, that the show does a lot of other things not subtle, and then chooses to do that subtle, and that is kind of weird for sure, weird choice.
It's just crazy to me to think that this and this are even parts of the same franchise, never mind shown on screen together.
Nah. They're fine. Chill a little, okay?
This is really some of the worst big budget CGI that we've gotten in years. Anyway, after a mildly entertaining Hulk on Hulk fight,
but it's not terrible for like it being a show. It's not that terrible for being like that. It still works.
The idea of being a superhero is not appealing to Jen. Jen feels that she can help people in her own way, as a lawyer, as a defense attorney, and that she doesn't have to follow the same path as Bruce. And ultimately, Bruce is really just trying to get her to stay to fix his own problems, not to guide her.
There was a fun thing that they played there, Bruce. Like I said, just feeling jealous. He's doing it for him. He's doing it to be a leader. And instead of letting her learn, he's focusing on him teaching. And Mark Ruffalo is really good at that, playing that smart guy. I really liked that episode. Their chemistry was really fun.
I don't know if I entirely buy Bruce, especially as Professor Hulk, as an almost creepy, insecure captor with a good guy complex, which is essentially how the episode paints him.
Nah, yo, it's her cousin. They're family. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. They're family. They're family. Stop playing that game. Stop it.
We get a solid monologue from Ms. Lonnie explaining what she's had to go through being a woman and a woman in a male-dominated workplace, and how that's, for better or worse, allowed her to come to terms with her emotions, inherently have more control over her anger than Bruce due to the ways society treats women and expects them to remain composed at all times. I really appreciate the sentiment, but this monologue feels a bit off, like they picked the wrong target here, especially since we as an audience know all of the horrible things that Bruce has had to go through just to get back to a place of balance.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. She's cocky and new, and Bruce has been through a lot, and he's being this leader teacher role for her, and she's being cocky and new like students are, and he has to have patience for that, and he's not. Of course she's gonna say that shit. Of course. And he's trying to react to that. Also, again, they're family, so the shit they're gonna say to each other is gonna be completely different than just two regular people.
People keep claiming that She-Hulk is trailblazing, but it's really
it's
just
not
recycled.
Trailblazing.
And when we get
it's
monologues
not
like
in any
this,
means. I gotta get these captions right. I need you guys to have good captions. Why didn't it go back to where it was at though? Why can't it still go down to the bottom? What's going on? What's happening here? I don't like this. This is making me nervous. This is making me feel really odd inside. No, don't do this. Don't do this, please. Okay. We're back on the page. Subtitles, options, reset. Let's try a reset. Let's do a reset. What if it doesn't work?
Life that's still unsorted, but they make him kind of unlikable and smug, which is even more unfortunate.
You can move it around. Why did nobody tell me this? How have I been missing out on this whole time? I've been using YouTube my whole life, and I didn't know you could move it around. That thought never occurred to me. Why didn't anyone tell me about that? Oh my gosh, man. You can just move it around. Okay, we're going back to my cool font. Yeah. Look at that cool font. Yeah. Yeah. Now that's a cool font.
This show is a half-hour, at least partly episodic sitcom, but that just shows you that they made this show under the wrong format. If this is the kind of story they want to tell,
that's kind of what we're talking about here. Is this the wrong format? I say no. Part of what Marvel's trying to do is they want to create a platform with so many different types of stories, and not just Disney Plus being Disney, but Marvel as a studio. They're trying to do a multi-genre platform. What is a superhero? What does that imply? And how is that not just a protagonist in a story? Whether it even is the story of the villain being the protagonist in their view. Marvel does some pretty interesting, diverse things. To other people's point, they say that it is too watered down. I say that it's Disney. So to say that Disney shouldn't be what it is, and then to say that Marvel shouldn't be what it is, again, I ask, what do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? It is what Disney has always been. It's been what Marvel's always been too, even in the comic book form. These stories that people are saying that they're annoyed with are actually staying so true to not only the context and the storytelling and the detail, but also the emotion and storytelling chops. Like the way that it tells it is almost the exact same, down to the corniness of it. Comic books of the Marvel genre are so Disney already, and now they're literally Disney. So for them to keep doing this in the way that they're doing it, I think keep going. But again, listen to these criticisms and try to be better like they always do. But to that regard, to say that you're not enjoying it, I think is just dumb.
To be fair, episode 2 is the second best episode of the season so far, and that's largely because it poses a lot of interesting ideas.
Right, I forgot that he hadn't seen all the whole season, which is still dumb. Why are we watching this?
Jen can't even exist without being derivative of the Hulk, and because the world sees her simply as the female version of her cousin, they make assumptions about her, treat her differently, as if she's a product of nepotism and not the year's worth of grinding at law school for a degree.
This takes me back to like what Baggage Claim. She was making the point that Jennifer Walters is kind of an asshole, and we were making the point that, yeah, duh, of course she is, and she's gonna make a character shift. I also want to continue to make that point in this video, rather take it further and say that she's not an asshole. She's trying to make it work, and these characters around her are very weird and wacky. And what makes the show funny in the sort of way is they're all out of this world, and she's kind of in it, and she's like, what the heck? That's weird. Look at all these weird and wacky characters around me. I think she is a character trying to be their best in this society. Like Film Piece Speak was just saying, they don't want to be a part of this Avenger lifestyle. They want to be what they've always wanted to be, which is this lawyer. This is what she wants to do. This is how she wants to spend her time, her life. She's not worried about this other life that I guess she's now deemed to and being pulled to by just this cause and this happenstance, but she wants to be something else. And the fact that everyone's trying to make her be the thing she doesn't want to be, she's just saying F you the whole time, which I enjoyed. So to say that she's this asshole, we're all assholes. There's a lot of us, not you. You're not an asshole, the person asking that question. You're not. You're fine. You're a perfect person. So thank you. You girl boss, you.
It's a journey to reclaiming her own agency and learning to live with both halves of herself. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier explored a similar idea, and Sam Wilson grappling with, but ultimately embracing the Captain America mantle. With She-Hulk, it's just teasing. Ooh, what are these interesting possibilities? Wouldn't that be fascinating?
For sure, but they're different shows. Again, they wanted to make an episodic show. Rick and Morty has a similar problem, where Dan Harmon speaks about wanting to make this serial episodic, and everyone wants it to have this through line that he just doesn't care about. He just wants to make this fun show.
Rick is certainly keeping himself occupied. I think one of the few big giant shark jumpers of Rick and Morty is, does he have a larger goal that he hasn't shared yet? Or is what you see what you get? If he's working on something, then I guess that would ruin the show.
So he's not working on something?
Well, no, I guess it would ruin the show for me to know it / say it.
This show is suffering from the same thing, where everybody wants it to have this through line, which it does in a small way because it is a Marvel and that's what it needs to do, but it's just a serial episodic. And this is that different that everyone says that they want from Marvel, but they never get it. And I understand why people are making the point of why it's bad, because it is bad, but not for the reason that everyone says it is, which is so to me. It's so odd.
So much of this actually feels like an allegory for people in entertainment. Someone on the up and up speaks out against an injustice or workplace sexual harassment, gets the attention of the media, gets fired, is seen for a time as the champion of a movement.
Even down to her office looking out to LA, especially in this age where everyone can be an influencer to their own respect.
But because Jen then gets insta-hired by someone she vehemently opposed in court, yet has absolutely no objections or challenges to when given the job offer, there's not enough time to properly explore this. It's just another case of the show smashing through each plot point and interesting idea, interesting piece of commentary without really any concern for Jen as a character.
And that goes back to that writing that we were talking about, how they spent a little too much time on trying to tell two types of stories and they missed out on both.
Why the is Megan Thee Stallion actually in this? There's a post-credits.
Bro, chill, dog. Chill just a bit, man. Just a bit. It's stupid, right? It's stupid, right? We know. Everyone knows. Sit back, bro. Take a chill pill. Live a little, man.
Cameo bullshit has gotten completely out of control to the point where now it's
literally a joke
cameos.
on Cameo bullshit. Like they're making jokes on Cameo bullshit. Chill a little.
A cease and desist? Making that the entire premise of the episode just makes the writing team look ignorant to a fault. Oh, but he's violating natural law by using magic? Isn't any kind of magic breaking natural law? Is She-Hulk herself not a violation of natural law? That would actually be a pretty sweet premise. That's an interesting idea. Some bigot comes to She-Hulk to try and persecute a super for perverting natural law, forcing She-Hulk to grapple with the way ordinary people see her and whether she can uphold the laws of a society.
Here's what makes me mad. What makes me mad is he's that's a good story. That's a great idea. It's a really good idea what he just came up with. They made She-Hulk, the comic, Disney style, Marvel style. They did the shit that they do. What did you expect? What do you want? Why do you keep asking for this show that they never said that they were? That's a good idea, man. That's a great idea. Would that have been cool with these characters too? Hell yeah, I think so. But is it what this is? No. Why do you want it to be what you want it to be so bad and not what it already is? No love for She-Hulk.
They also need to figure out what the they're doing with the fourth wall breaks because they're too inconsistent, and because of that,
yeah, they are strangely inconsistent. He's so right. They were fun. Like, I enjoyed the fourth wall breaks a lot. There isn't like a beat to it or a pattern to it. She just broke into it, which maybe they wanted it to be inconsistent for like the sake of hitting you with it when you least expect, but I don't know. It was weird. It was super funny though.
Just because that's a part of the character in the comics and a great part of the character in the comics, it's done so well in the comics.
She rips out the pages at the end of the comic books, and she literally did that in this, and he hasn't seen that yet. So you know, I'm sure he'd like that if once he sees it, he'll be like, oh, she did the thing. She did the thing in the comics. Very cool, very nice. So we'll see about that. But in the meantime, you don't know.
Can She-Hulk Attorney at Law recover from the absolute tailspin it's in? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can recover, for sure. I have faith in it, and I hope this isn't the death of She-Hulk. I hope they bring her back. I hope they work on her character a lot more, because I really enjoyed her. I thought she was fun. I liked the show. I liked the sitcom vibe. I want them to make a Marvel sitcom somehow. I think that would be a lot of fun. If they could do it, if they could really pull off what they want to pull off and keep it going, that would be awesome.
Throwaway gag, the aforementioned turning Thor into a punchline moment. These are things that seem humorous in the moment, and like in isolation, yeah, they're mildly funny, but are really just undercutting some of the MCU's best and most iconic moments. Even someone as beloved as Wong. My god, poor Benedict Wong feels as though he's been dumbed down for the sake of the show. It mischaracterizes legacy MCU heroes.
Doesn't step on the toes. Comedy doesn't step on the toes of the. It's not stepping on the toes of the like legacy MCU heroes. It's not stepping on their toes. It's literally giving them respect. They're trying to be fun with it, make fun with it. We take it seriously, but we also be like, but it's stupid. Really, at the end of the day.
Oh, the show is called She-Hulk. Well, if it continues on this trajectory, I'm just gonna have to start calling it She-Hulk.
Bro, I hate you. I don't like you. She-Hulk is very bad. She-Hulk is great. This guy, I bet, is gonna be pretty cringe too. I can just feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones. He's gonna say some weird I can feel it in my little bones. I feel it rattling around. All that to say, I'm excited that he's gonna be happy about it. I wanna hear some praise. I wanna hear people talk about it. This was a good thing. This was a good thing. I'm very happy with the way that I feel when I watch this thing.
But if you watch the show and think the CGI is distracting, I get it. Although, like I said, I think it's more often good than bad.
I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. It's not that distracting for me. Look at the eyes. You see her do the look around, and then the look, like, you can see her direct her attention to somebody else's eyes. There's a difference in the way that they look. There's the blink around, like the look around. So you see her, like, attached to another set of eyes. It's really, really good eye work. I think that's why they sell it for me. And so much of film acting is eye acting. Stage is body acting. Film is eye acting.
Now, you see actors and they're acting and they change, and it's an infinitesimal thing in the eyes, is they change eyes as they're talking. Can you see my eyes changing there?
Yes.
Just I'm changing eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm blinking. Now that is two of the worst things to do. First of all, you never change eyes, and what you do is you pick an eye. Now which eye do you pick? I look at, with this eye, because the camera is there, I look at this eye, at your eye there, which brings my face, you can see. If I look with this eye at that eye, look what you get. You see the difference? But it's the same look. And if I keep blinking, it weakens me. But if I'm talking to you, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, you start to listen to what I'm saying. And it makes me a very strong person, as opposed to someone who is sitting there going, which is someone who's completely flustered.
You got to work the eyes really well in the CGI. And I think they hit it. I think they fucking hit that shit, man. But you see her walking, and like her hand even in that same shot looks a little rubbery, like a rubber guy.
Number A, She-Hulk is funny. Now, your mileage on this one will vary. Everyone finds different things funny.
It definitely thinks it's funny. It definitely thinks it's funny. And that's a fact. That's for sure.
But some parts of She-Hulk just really worked for me. Mainly it was the juxtaposition, putting a character or archetype into a situation that only exists in the MCU.
You know what I feel like? She-Hulk thinks it's funny in the same way that everybody thinks they're funny. This just feels cozy to me. It feels like I'm with like people that I love because they all think they're funny, you know, and they're not. And so it does like isn't this funny? You're just like, aw, yeah. Aw, She-Hulk, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, sure. That's what it is. It just makes me feel good in that way. And a lot of Marvel comedy is like that. That's why it's a family program. Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't need to be game-changing. Marvel's never been game-changing. It's just, you know, everyone's kind of like, hey, there's that thing. Come on, kids, let's go down to the screen. Take a look at that thing that they do. Come on, let's take a look. Let's take a gander down at the screen. Come on, boys, let's take a look down at the screen. You've got your quarters, you've got your pennies. We're gonna make our way down the road, hand in hand. We're gonna go to the screen of wonders and see what they have to offer.
Judge hears the Asgard is not a place, it's a people speech and strikes it down. Asgardian construction workers. I think it's just funny.
Everything that the other guy says is disrespectful, that Film Speak says is disrespectful, Nando is saying is funny. And this is exactly the point that I was making. And I'm right in the middle saying it's not disrespectful, but it's also not funny. It's just fine. We know what the writers are intending. Does it hit it? No, but it's cute. Keep going. Maybe you'll get one of them, and they do get some of them. The Captain America joke is funny. That was objectively funny. And I think the Wong with the party girl joke it's not amazing, but I enjoyed it. When I see it, I'm like, that's silly. I did a little one of these. You know, that's just fine. It's television. This is what you watch with a bowl of cereal in the morning. This isn't your nighttime going to date time to watch a Marvel movie. Like, take like your girlfriend to a Marvel movie. Take your wife to a Marvel movie. Take your family. Take a friend. Don't take a date to a Marvel film. Jesus Christ. No. Unless they're like one of those like Disney adults, then just take them to a Marvel movie, which is fine. You can be a Disney adult. That's cool. You can wear Mickey Mouse ears whenever you want. That's fine. That's cool. Take them to a Marvel movie. Take them to a live action Disney remake. Take them to those. Dog.
And a common complaint among the Marvel shows is that they feel like a 3-hour movie cut up into 6 pieces and thrown on Disney+. And I think for quite a few of them,
I think that's fine. I think they should go shorter if they want to, and I don't think it would hurt by any means if they want to go to like 3-hour-long episodes. Go for it, dog. And I think that's what they were trying with Werewolf by Night, so I'm glad that they are going for it now.
Feels like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Hawkeye or Miss Marvel could be better served by cutting out a bunch of the fluff and editing the entire thing into a 2-hour-long movie.
Nah, I disagree with those two specific examples. Hawkeye and Miss Marvel, well, maybe Miss Marvel less. They hold on to them being TV show vibe. Miss Marvel less, for sure. I don't want to say they feel like the new Disney Channel shows. That's not what I want to say, but I do kind of believe that. I don't want to say it because I don't want them to think that's cool, because it's not.
Hulk is very explicitly a sitcom. And part of the charm of a sitcom is that while there are big season-long arcs, like Diane warming up to Sam or Mac getting fat, the episodes themselves are largely disconnected and can be watched out of order without breaking the entire thing. I think I could show someone episode 1 and then skip to episode 4 and they'd mostly get it. And I know some people don't like this, the disconnection at the heart of the show. But for me, it's a feature, not a bug.
It's a feature, not a bug. I agree wholeheartedly.
If you don't like the idea of sitcoms, then sure, this is not going to work for you. But as someone who grew up...
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Nando. Thank you, guys. Thank you. If you don't like sitcoms, the idea of sitcoms just isn't going to be your thing. It's just not. It's not going to be your shindig. Not going to be your get down. And that's just fine with me. That's just fine.
But it's pretty wild that even though Earth is full of aliens and Asgardians and all sorts of gods and enhanced people, outside of the Shang-Chi cage fight, we've not had an Earthbound show where characters just bump into something weird.
She-Hulk, the way that they're just like, we need like a superhero division, it very much embraces the weird world that they're trying to get into. And you can tell they're trying to get weird. I think they want to bring the X-Men into a weird world because the X-Men's already kind of futuristic, almost going to start being run by superheroes. And then this whole mutant idea will be like, hey, f these guys actually. Because X-Men, it's like this world where everyone's like, f the mutants, we don't like them. Magneto's like, f the people, let's kill them. Professor X is like, nah, we gotta like be good and love everybody. Based.
Like, did anyone else experience the time Mr. Knight and Khonshu turned back the whole sky? Or that kaiju fight from the end of the series? As far as we know, it happened in the MC.
I'm always like, what about that, like, when they just, like, spun the stars? What did that mean for, like, the physical MCU? Like, they were seeing it, and then they go to that shot where everyone's seeing it, and I'm like, oh, they didn't have to do that. Now they have to explain this later? All right. Fine, but you really didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. I know that they bring it up as a plot point to like Cage Khonshu later, but still, they could have done some other
Nobody has brought up the Gargantos attack, any of the Statue of Liberty stuff, Hawkeye shooting goons in 30 Rock on Christmas.
Nah, you don't need to bring all that up. That's small. That's small. That's okay. It's the Marvel Universe. People are used to this. Monsters are attacking everywhere. People are on edge at all times. And that's why they're getting silly, getting wacky, getting weird. Here in this class, we you know, we want that ooey gooey shit. That's what we're about. That's what we're here for. That's why we're living strong. Live strong. What was I saying? Oh yeah. No, you don't know how to talk about all those events. That's little shit in the Marvel Universe. That's small shit. That ain't no Avengers level threat. Ain't nobody talking about that. That's local news. Like, oh honey, did you hear that fucking goons were running around 30 Rock the other night? Hawkeye and then a littler Hawkeye with longer hair both did a thing, and they stopped it with a bunch of things. Arrows, I believe, honey, is what they were. They got all the goons. They stopped the goon, and the head goon was shot in the face by a deaf girl. And isn't that life for us, honey, in New York? That's what life's like for us, isn't it, honey? Honey, Dale, that's not funny. Get up, Dale.
And it's clear that Phase 4 was jumbled by the pandemic.
Everybody was jumbled by the pandemic. Fuck you.
She-Hulk's world building has really impressed me because of how much they've trusted the audience. A light elf shows up. We've never seen them or heard of them before. But the writers know if they look and act a specific way, we'll get that this thing is a Thor thing.
And I love the way that he frames it as having respect for the audience. I completely agree. Again, I cannot say this enough. Do I think it works?
No.
I like meeting these mutants. This is what I really want Marvel to be, because this is what it always has been for me. Disney's actually giving it the respect it deserves, and people say that they're not. I'm like, man, I think they're really trying, and they're making it for everybody. Aw.
An interesting character because she has no flaws. She never does anything wrong, and she dismisses Bruce, her kind older cousin, which I think is a wild misreading of the entire series. Jen's biggest flaw is that she's just sort of arrogant. Like this guy, or this guy, or this guy, or this guy.
Thank you, Nando. Thank you.
And then they will also talk about the message, how Marvel is too woke. And listen, obviously it's silly, right? Who uses woke unironically these days? Who are you, Bill Maher? But these guys do. And first of all, they love to talk about how Marvel focuses too much on politics, and I want to make a distinction here. Just because you disagree with someone about something does not make it politics, because politics are easy to dismiss.
People gotta separate out politics and art. They really do. People say that trying to be political, they're more trying to make an artistic point that hits to both political sides, and the reason you think it's political in one way is because it's speaking to what you believe is in the way that it should. It's being the correct mirror that it wants to be. So eat that, nerd.
He's on board. He just does not like Jen, like he says in the very next episode, but he is pretty weird about it. Jen is not in the wrong here at all. But these
it's not as if she's in the wrong. She's two separate people. She's got two separate forms that she's projecting that she is. Not even projecting, that she is. That's a whole other idea. If she's gonna have a relationship with a person, that person has to be okay with both forms of who they are. It's not just the one. He's put back by that because they haven't really discussed that. Especially the next morning after you've kind of like been vulnerable with that person, you haven't even like seen the other side of them. That could be traumatic. Never dated a Hulk, but it could be traumatic.
I feel like the show is calling out all men because it's calling out them, and we shouldn't listen to them. They call people betas. They clearly don't deserve to be taken seriously. In Philadelphia, we have a word for people like them. Jabronis. Like in their video analyzing why the trailer makes She-Hulk look bad,
Jabronis, dog? Did you just say jabroni? Bro, why did you say jabroni, though? Isn't that The Rock? Didn't The Rock say that in like a WW, like a wrestling thing? Or did you say jabroni? Did you just say jabroni? Don't say that, okay? Please? Please don't say that. That makes me really upset. Please don't say that again. Thank you.
this jabron went out of his way twice to tell you how Jen was ungrateful for the powers she volunteered for.
I'd date her. I could hit some Matt Murdock level shit. Look at me. If I just like took a couple days, or no, took about a year, got in shape, got my hair right, you know, got blind. Daredevil status. That's kind of what people tell me, honestly. Like I go out in the street, and they're like, "Hey, have you ever seen Daredevil? Have you ever seen Daredevil?" Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, I watched the first couple episodes. Yeah. You know, you look kind of like you could do that. That's something that you could kind of do. Oh no, I don't. No, you could do that. You should try that. Try it. Hey, I don't know why you could come over here. You don't have to just yell at me from over there. You could come over here and talk to me.
We need to prove that the show is bad immediately. Even their bad ideas about what woke means don't really hold up to any scrutiny. They say that Marvel has rules now, like that women can't lose a fight to a man. Solid rule. As long as you don't count Wanda, her, the Ancient One. These two, again, Ghost, again, her, again, her, again, and her. And to be fair, those are all phase 3. They're probably aren't taking phase 4. Besides Monica, the TVA agent, Carly again, Sprite, Kate, a bunch, May, one again, and Falcon. Okay, well that's not important because they have another rule: women can't be wrong.
He's right.
You know, except for when Wanda enslaves them.
He's
Town. Agatha's the bad guy. Carly kills a bunch of people for no reason. She's a bad guy. She's a bad guy. Sprite joins the bad guys. Kate gets caught a lot. Kate's mom is a bad guy. Najima's the bad guy. The damage control lady is a bad guy. His mom is abusive. She kills everybody. Titania's a bad guy. And the most wrong thing, Kamala makes her dad sad. So accepting their premise.
Kamala does make her dad sad. All right, Nando. You want me back, man? I'm back on your side. You and me, side by side.
Marvel's not that woke. These jabronis get tons of facts about the show wrong.
New take. Marvel's not woke at all, yo. Marvel's unwoke, yo. They're patriarchal as dog. Always showing men. Actually, they are kind of patriarchal.